It's evident that he cares. What do you care about? Welcome to the Rock Newman Show.
So Lizzie, where does your positivity come from? Your spirit of feeling as if it's gonna be okay, our time is going to come. I know a lot of people would be so frustrating and blaming the world, but you're remaining positive. What is it that allows you to keep that kind of positive approach?
My mom and God. I just gotta believe that he's gonna give me this kidney. Gotta stay strong.
Yeah. Greetings, beloved, and thank you once again for tuning in to the Rock Newman Show 2.0. We know you have many things you could be doing, but the fact that you are joining us here today, we are very grateful for. Let me say with absolute sincerity, I feel as if this show that we're bringing you today is one of the most important shows that I've ever done. I've had celebrities and sports figures and politicians and all of that, but I genuinely, in a heartfelt way, want you to pay attention. Call your friends, tell them right now, find the Rock Newman Show 2.0, because this is what can be a life-saving show and a show that will give information to you about how to access information and valuable connections for you or anyone in your family or friends that are afflicted, impacted by kidney disease. I say that by kidney disease, and there's a special focus that is important to me and to everyone that you're going to hear from today about the disparity, just the unbelievable disparity of blacks and other minorities in the kind of treatment, the rate of kidney donation, the rate of kidney transplant. And we're going to deal with that today. We're going to do all we can to help inform you and to educate you. And the soul of this show today is a 13-year-old sister in Dallas. Her name is Lizzie Rogers. She was born with kidney disease, and over the last several years, she has been on dialysis. She's very close. She's number one at the Dallas Children's Hospital to receive a matching transplant. So I want you to pay particular attention. We want to give her a lot of love and support from all over, and I'll get into that more later. Her mother, her brother, and her aunt, all who have been very active in supporting her, are with us also. That's Rodney, her brother, Caroline, her mom, and Dianne Richmond, her aunt with the cowboy hat. We also have Paul Dooley, who is the founder and the CEO of MatchingDonors.com. Paul and I have been communicating over the last, I'm going to say 2-3 years. And often we've discussed doing a show about MatchingDonors.com and the invaluable contributions that they are making. And we finally put all the pieces together. So Paul Dooley, say hello, wave to your adoring fans, Paul.
Hello, everyone.
There's another lady here. She's in the Rocky Mountains. Are you in the Rocky Mountains? Linda Martinez. Linda Martinez has been working with MatchingDonors.com as a volunteer for a decade and has a very interesting story where she is continuing a legacy of her dad, Tom Martinez. Now, rabid sports fans might know who Tom Martinez is. Tom Martinez is the gentleman that Tom Brady, many say the greatest NFL player of all time, gives credit to teaching him how to throw the football. And Linda is his daughter. Tom was waiting to get a transplant, and prior to getting the transplant, he passed away, sadly. Linda has absolutely dedicated much of her life and her time and her energy to helping others avoid the fate of her dad as a volunteer. Linda, we're happy to have you. Thank you so much. And last but certainly not least, we have a gentleman who is a legend out of Washington, D.C. and Howard University. His name is Dr. Clive Callender. Dr. Callender, I'm going to take the liberty to share a quote that was said to me today, and I got permission to share this quote. It was from Dr. Wayne A.I. Frederick, what I consider to be one, if not the greatest, certainly one of the greatest presidents ever at Howard University. He had a 10-year term there, and he turned things around and did fabulous things. He's a highly rated surgeon in his own right, highly respected in the medical profession. And because I want to get it right, I want to read his quote. He said, Dr. Clive Callender is the single most important and influential medical practitioner in the world related to the issue of kidney disease and disparity in the Black community. Jersey, I used to be really close friends with Jersey Joe Walcott. When you get a compliment like that from Dr. Wayne A.I. Frederick, Jersey Joe Walcott would say, you're stepping, he really would say something else, but you're stepping in high cotton. Thank you, Dr. Callender, for joining us. So, Dr. Callender, I have tried to articulate just in a general sense and talked about the disparity of kidney treatment in the Black community. You started the first transplant center at Howard University and have dedicated your life to these issues. Why is there such disparity?
It's interesting that you would ask that question because tomorrow is April the 30th, and we're talking about APOL1 Awareness Day. And the reason I mention that is because there's a genetic predisposition, which may be one of the main reasons why Blacks have more kidney disease than any other ethnic group. There's a gene that allows for Blacks from Africa to not get sleeping sickness. That same gene increases the likelihood of us having kidney disease, so that we have people of color, particularly African Americans, have 3 to 4 times the likelihood of getting kidney disease than people who are not complexion. And so this may be part of the story, because we've long wondered, why is it? We know that we have more hypertension, we have more diabetes, and we also have more of this special disease, FSGS, focal sclerosing glomerulosclerosis, which is 75% of people who have that kidney disease are Black. So we have a predisposition to kidney disease that may be one of the major reasons why we have so much kidney disease.
Very interesting, and I want to come back to that. Paul Dooley, we wouldn't be doing the show if it hadn't been for our conversations and collaborations. What was it that inspired you to found matchingdonors.com? And tell us, please, what have been some of your best successes and also some of your challenges?
Sure. I started matching donors because I own other companies. I have other companies I own, some stuff out in Hollywood, as you know, and some internet companies. And one of the companies I own is a job board. We create job boards like Monster.com, Hot Jobs, Indeed. And my father was a great old Boston cop, looked and sounded like Archie Bunker, had two good teeth, and I was finishing up being an oral maxillofacial surgeon. I was taking care of him. And he came in one day and said, I have a canker. I said, oh my God, it's a tumor. And so he had cancer. During the time when he had cancer, I took care of him. I was the youngest of 7, but I was the one who took care of him. And during that time, they gave him the opportunity to live. So they said, Tom, you want a pacemaker? Sure. Do you want this? Sure. It was back in 1995. And one day they came to him and said, your kidneys are shutting down. Do you want another kidney? I said, sure. They came back about 3 or 4 days later, and this was Dana-Farber in Boston, great hospital, and said, you have about three years to live, but the list is about 7 to 10 years long, and you'll never make it. He ended up passing from cancer, but it stuck in my head. It's like when you go to college and you had a beat up old red Volvo, you always see beat up red Volvos. So I started seeing people who needed organ transplants. And I said, you know what? I have this code where we match an employer with a job seeker, an algorithm. Maybe I can take it and we'll match someone who needs an organ transplant with people willing to donate. I said, if it works, it works. And like any entrepreneur, if it doesn't work, we'll shut it down. And in 2004, we started it, and we became the first company to ever facilitate an organ transplant through the internet. And since then, we've had the most organ transplants. And in 20 years, we've saved over 10,000 people. So it's been absolutely spectacular.
Let me make sure I heard that right. So you said in 20 years,
Yes,
you've effectuated, been a part of the process of 10,000 people receiving a kidney transplant?
yes, 10,000. Yes, yeah, 10,000. It's pretty cool. We get a lot of advertising.
Standing ovation for that, man.
Well, thank you. And we get a lot of stuff free, as you know. We know the same guys out in Hollywood and all that, and they give me about $3 to $5 million worth of free advertising every year, which is spectacular. And we get between 3 and 26 new donors a day. We vet them to make sure they're good donors, and there's no one unscrupulous anymore. That was like the first year you get people from Cameroon. But we'll get people saying, I know what it's like to need a kidney transplant because I need one. I want to donate. You can't. I just got over cancer and I want to donate. You can't. But out of the 3 to 26 that we get, we probably get about 8 a day that are good and viable. The average time someone gets a kidney in this country is sometimes around 7 to 10 years. Could be longer. In the Black community, it's much longer. With us, it's about 6 months. They get on, they find a donor, and we're not on an exclusive list. So I understand how the government's list is restricted. It's restricted because they only have so many organs. With us, we have unlimited organs. So if you're too old, you're not going to get an organ. If you're too sick, you're not getting an organ. With us, as long as the patient can find a transplant center in the United States that'll do the transplant, we'll do it. We've had patients that have been 92 that have had transplants. We've had patients who were 4 who've had transplants. The biggest obstacle we've ever found was taken care of pretty quickly. Was to get the donor. We need a donor within the United States. We can't get them someplace else. It just wouldn't work out. So we have donors from Alaska, Hawaii, whatever, donating to patients no matter where they are. And so we need to take care of food, lodging, transportation, to and from testing and surgery. And we have great benefactors. They've been spectacular with us. So if I had trouble with it, I'd call a benefactor and say, I need $15,000 for this donor. They would do it. Now there's a lot of grants, and we supplement whatever grants are out there. We had a girl who was very poor, and she was in Mississippi, and she was going up to Johns Hopkins to have a transplant, but she had to stay at Johns Hopkins for, I think it was 4 months. She had a young child, and he was just in middle school, and he had just started school. And so she said, I think it's going to be tough because I can't do it because my kid can't stay out of school. I can't afford to lose work. And we had a benefactor that said, I'll pay for the school. Put the kid in school for 4 months, 6 months, as a matter of fact, paid her salary, paid the donor's salary, and paid for the lodging and everything for the donor's family. So it's pretty cool. What's great about it is that initially, when we first started, people would say, "Oh, only pretty people are going to get transplants. Only people who are, most popular are going to get transplants." They're the last ones who are going to get transplants. The people who are on here, altruistic donors, are people saying, "I want to help Lizzie. I want to help a little girl. I want to help a grandfather. I want to help someone who I can relate to." And then you get patients who are funny stories. The craziest stories. When I first got involved, when I was in medical school and all that, and I went to medical school, but did really well in internet companies, so I never had to go back. But I was very clinical, and so when people would sign up as a donor, they'd put in. We had one gentleman put in, "I want to donate to a NASCAR fan." I called him up. I said, "What are you, some type of knucklehead? Want to donate to a NASCAR fan?" He said, "Let me tell you what's the story. I am 57 years old. I was an executive with General Motors, and I got laid off. And I live in New Hampshire, drove my wife crazy sitting around the house." And she said, "Why don't you go down and see NASCAR? They're up in New Hampshire." I went there 1 day, 2 days, 5 days, and then they hired me in the pit. And I've been working there for 10 years, and I want to donate to someone that's helped me out. Pretty cool. And then you have ones who are the most amazing ones who call up and say, I need a donor, but the donor can only be related to me, as far as I had a woman who was a Hasidic Jewish woman. And she said, "I know I'm only going to get a donor from a Hasidic Jewish woman." I said, "Well, why is that?" And she said, "Because that's the way it works." I said, "That's not the way DNA works. It's not that way at all. That's not the way organs work." So what'd your rabbi say? She goes, "Oh, he thinks I'm nuts." I said, "I think I'm going what your rabbi said." So she got on. And she got about 4 weeks later, she called me up crying. I said, "What happened?" She goes, "I got a perfect match." I said, "What'd you get?" She goes, "A black Baptist minister from Tennessee." I said, "There you go. There you go."
So then we're gonna say hallelujah.
That's right. And then we went better, because these people are really good altruistic people. So later on, about a year later on, these people become very close. At Thanksgiving, she called me up crying. Everyone calls me up crying, good things. So what's going on? She goes, "Oh, his name is Warner Ruben." And said, Juan and his wife had Thanksgiving with us. And I was saying to Juan, how we're talking, how the only problem I've ever had in life was that I couldn't carry a baby because of my complications. And his wife looked at me and said, "I'll carry a baby if you want." And she did, and they had twins.
My Lord.
Isn't that crazy?
My Lord. Oh man, Paul, we want to come back to even some more of those stories and some more of what you do and how folks can get in contact with you. People, look, I'm trying to look you straight in the eye. I want you to pay attention, and I want you to get everybody within the sound of your voice that you can reach. Tell them to watch this show here. Look, I'm saying it. It's not bragging, it's not hyperbole, it's real. This show can save your life, and the people on this broadcast can help save your life. Linda Martinez, I talked about, sort of your legacy and your father being the one that Tom Brady, the great football player, credits with helping him become Tom Brady, the all-time great NFL player. Can you please take us through the example and what you experienced? One, finding out your father had kidney disease, what that experience was like, what it entailed, and what was it that so inspired you to volunteer your life's work to making sure that others were able to be saved by being able to get a kidney transplant?
Yeah, sure. Well, it's an honor. I love to talk about my dad because he was a tremendous human being. He really was. He when he passed away, there were over 1,000 people at his funeral, and mostly you just hear over and over all the people that had been touched by him at some point. He was a great coach and a great teacher, and he spent his life building up others and encouraging them to be the best they could, and above all, to work hard no matter who you are. And he didn't care what color you were, what your accent was, where you came from. Everyone's the same. Everyone can work just as hard. Everyone can achieve just as much. And so when he fell ill, just after he had retired, he'd spent his whole life working so hard. It was hard. It was tough. And, like many people with kidney disease, he had the experience of being on dialysis. And people don't talk about dialysis. And I think a lot of people don't even know what dialysis is. But anyone who has been on it or who has family members on it knows what it's like to be in those centers across this country. And my father, when he was coaching for Football University, traveled the country on dialysis. And so that's really when, I'll never forget, he came home and he said, Linda, he said, we have to do something about this. He said, you've got all these people. And he says, and they don't know anything. He says, I have hope because we have matching donors, and I know I'm going to get my donor, because, it was thanks to matching donors that he had any hope at all. I mean, in his mind, he thought, there's no way, I've got diabetes, I'm overweight, I'm not going to get a kidney. And, it just so happened that, yes, he did coach Tom Brady. And yes, Tom Brady put on his Facebook page, hey, my coach needs a kidney. And over 100 people came forward to donate. Amazing. And 15 or so, I think, matched. And, he was on his way to get his kidney, but he said, not everybody knows Tom Brady and can do that. What about all these people in Mississippi? He spent a lot of time down in Louisiana where, he was helping Jamarcus Russell prepare for his field day, or his pro day. And, he's like, these people, these folks, they don't know, these are good people and they're doing their best. And they don't know that there's an opportunity. They don't have to sit on that wait list. And so before he passed, he started the Tom Martinez Goal Line Fund. And true to his nature, true to his whole life's career, he wanted to open access to people who don't have access, and it just can't be that people that have resources and can take off 4 months at a time. And, most people can't do that. And so what's amazing about this fund is that we're really able to help people who might not otherwise be able to do it. And, again, this is just an example. I have so much admiration for matchingdonors.com, and that's why I'm doing this, because I think to myself, this is how we build a better country. It's not by waiting for our government, because I mean, waiting 7 to 10 years, it's not going to happen. So don't wait for your government. You have to do something about it. And, Paul has the training and the background and everything else, and has this amazing team behind him. And look what's happened. Look at this innovation is saving lives, not because the government is here, running the show, but because people are coming together, helping one another altruistically. And it's just a beautiful thing. And we just want more people to know about this and to have access to it.
So Linda, if you would articulate to the listening audience how it is that they can become a part and get on the list of a matchingdonors.com. And obviously it's Paul's operation, but you've been so intimately involved in it. And then I want to come to Dr. Callender for a question.
Yeah, well, if you go to matchingdonors.com, you can see everything there. You can either sign up to be a patient to receive an organ, or you can sign up to volunteer. But maybe you're too scared. Maybe you think, I can't do this. Just call up. They'll talk to you. And if you're afraid, talk to everybody else that you know about this. Hey, do you know anybody that's on dialysis? Do you know anyone that needs a kidney transplant? Well, I learned on this Rock Newman show. I just want people talking about it. And it's scary. It's uncomfortable to talk about this. And I don't think people who need kidneys are going around. It's not a topic of conversation they have with everybody, but it should be.
Dr. Callender, I'd like for you to weigh in. That was a phenomenal statistic. As much as Paul and I have talked, I did not know over the last 20 years, they've been responsible for organizing 10,000 people to get a transplant. Weigh in on that, please.
I think that's wonderful. I think, as we all know, that 17 people die every day because of the shortage of donors. And that is the number one problem with transplantation. And so to have a group that can play such a major role in getting people together so that they can save lives is something that is phenomenal, and it's an incredible contribution to mankind to have a volunteer group to do something like that. And I think I'm thrilled to meet the people who have done such a wonderful thing.
Thank you very much.
So, folks, in case you just tuned in, that's Dr. Clive Callender, who is responsible for the bringing in the transplant center to Howard University. And I got to read this quote again from Dr. Wayne Frederick, so you know that when he speaks, you need to listen, that Dr. Callender was the single most important and influential medical practitioner in the world, not in DC, not on the East Coast, not in America, in the world, related to the issue of kidney disease and disparity in the Black community. Tell all your friends to turn on the Rock Newman Show right now. Even if you come in late, that's okay. Now I want to introduce Dianne Richmond, who worked at Howard University for several years and who has been a support system for her sister Caroline Rogers, for Lizzie Rogers, and Rodney. And if you see what I'm doing, I'm saving Lizzie and and their family for best, because, as I said at the outset, this is about saving lives, and one of those lives is Lizzie Rogers. And we want to put on a full court press to save her life, to get her a donor. So, Dianne, can you please tell us your experience and what the family has gone through before I talk to Lizzie, her mom, and her brother?
Yes, thank you, and thank you for having me on today. And I I don't know exactly where to start, but I'll start at one point. Um, we all love Lizzie, and as you've mentioned before, Lizzie was born with a kidney disease, and things got worse over the years. So when Lizzie was diagnosed to the point that she was going to need dialysis, I think as a family we didn't understand um, how impactful that was going to be upon the family, and particularly Caroline, Lizzie, Rodney, and Big Rodney. Um, this whole dialysis and kidney failure turned their lives upside down. And that is putting it lightly, because I think that when people think about kidney disease and dialysis and transplant, you kind of compartmentalize that aspect of their lives. But in order to get a child to dialysis 3 times a week and maintain their education over that period of time with homeschooling, both of their lives were, both parental lives were just turned upside down, upended totally. How do you maintain employment when you have that kind of responsibility? And you can't leave a child at home to do homeschooling or on the internet and maintain employment. So when Caroline and Rodney got to a point where they were trying to handle this all by themselves, the family didn't know how much they were experiencing until one day, all things going normal is seen. My sister Caroline called 911 for her husband, who was having some chest pain. He was carted off by ambulance to a hospital. After she loaded him in the ambulance, she said to her children, "I'm going to drive myself to the hospital because I'm not feeling well." She's a type 1 diabetic, and she had been rationing her insulin and her insulin supplies. She drove herself to the hospital, barely made it to the ED, and was immediately hospitalized and placed in the ICU. So, in that one moment, you had the father in one hospital getting a stent placed in his heart, and the mother in another hospital trying to get her blood
Oh,
sugar under control, leaving 2 minors at home alone
mm,
with no family support
mm,
in the area,
mm.
and a child who needed to go to dialysis the next day.
Oh,
So it's those kind of things that could really put a lot of strain on a family who's waiting for a kidney, in addition to having to deal with housing insecurity, food insecurity, transportation insecurity, And we didn't, as a family, know that they were experiencing those insecurities to the degree that they were until we had two parents in the hospital with nobody at the house with the children. And sometimes the healthcare system can be really cruel to families in not understanding that the person presenting before you is more than just that diagnosis and have many more things, more complexities in their lives than what you see. I was recently at a CMS quality conference where a gentleman who had received a kidney transplant told his journey to that possibility of getting the implant. And he said, the transplant, he said that his dialysis team called him in for a coming to Jesus meeting because he was not coming to his appointments as scheduled. And they told him that if he could not comply, that they were going to discontinue his dialysis. Well, during that conversation, they got a better understanding that one of the primary reasons why he was not able to make his appointment is because he was having transportation issues. Once they assisted him with that, he was able to get to his appointments and he became, in their terms, compliant. He did become eligible for an organ, and now he is one of the most dynamic advocates for patients who are having these complexities in their lives to get them to be able to get a transplant.
What a story. What a perspective. Do you think you're having a bad day? What a perspective you just shared. Folks, look, I'm going to do something on the fly here because fundamentally, we understand from what Dianne just explained that Lizzie and her parents and her brother, they need support and they need support now. So I'm going to try to call an audible here. You all know about football, know what an audible is, and it's this. I'm going to say something, and Paul, and I want to come to you. I am starting a new business within the next week. The website is Rock Newman helpingyouwin.com. For those of you that are listening to me now and weeks from now, it's Rock Newman helpingyouwin.com. It's a consultant and coaching business. It is not up yet. That's the website. That is the website, rocknewmanhelpingyouwin.com. I think if you're so inspired, you feel it in your heart, your mind, your soul, you can make a donation there. It's where I have it where if people want to book my services, you can pay fee and I can accept different forms of donations. I want you to donate. I've never done this. I have never done this. But if you can donate on my site, 100% of what you donate will go to Lizzie and her family, and they are in need of it. We're talking about saving the life of a precious 13-year-old. Tom, the reason I wanted to come to you is, do you have any mechanism at matchingdonors.com that might be more secure than what I'm talking? When I say secure, I'm pretty sure they can come to my place and click a button and make a donation. But frankly speaking, I'm not positive. That's why I say I'm doing this on the fly. If you have anything like that, I'd like to know and give out that information.
Sure, and thank you so much. You're such a lifesaver, Rock. You really are. My God, amazing what you do. If they go to matchingdonors.com, on the top left-hand side, it'll say donate. Just press on that button and you can donate. And since we're a 501c3 nonprofit, a real nonprofit, no one takes salaries. That'll be tax deductible and it'll be a write-off for those people.
Do they have a way to say donate for Lizzie?
Yep, it'll be right there in the box. It'll say, "Why do you want to donate?"
Okay, folks, that's better than this. That's better than what I suggested. Go to matchingdonors.com. Go to that website, matchingdonors.com, and donate whatever you're inspired to donate, and put for Lizzie, and Matching Donors will supply those funds to the family.
What a great guy
Okay,
you are.
that's sort of my
You're such a lifesaver.
that's
Thank you so much.
that's my audible here. I want to encourage
Wow.
you. Y'all write and talk about what we do in the good programming, and some of you like me and some of you don't. Both of y'all give up some money, because we're trying to save a life and to do it very quickly.
Wow.
Thank you so much.
Lizzie, how you doing sitting there, you gorgeous little girl, you little lady? How you doing, Lizzie?
I'm doing fine.
I'm glad to hear that you're doing fine. I saw some photos of you, and we actually are going to show a little video when you last went to the hospital. Let's ask your mom to explain we're going to be showing the video. So, Caroline, we'd like for you to explain. One, we know now, we've already established that Lizzie was born with kidney disease. Caroline, if you would share what your experience has been and how it is that we can continue to try to support what you're doing, and to get Lizzie a kidney.
Okay, so yes, of course, we all know that Lizzie was born with kidney disease, and it's been kind of rough. She was able to use the restroom here for many, many years, and these past 3 years, she's been on dialysis. And so it's been kind of rough with me, with my work, and trying to get her to dialysis at least 3 times a week out of the week. But we've been maintaining and trying really hard to, with the support of my family, to kind of help us to get through the stage, basically. But we got a call a couple weeks ago. We thought that was Liz's time for her to get her kidney transplant, but we come to find out that wasn't possible that day. It just didn't work out that way. The kidney went to someone different.
So hold on. We're actually going through the hallway to the hospital. Miss Elizabeth could possibly be having her kidney transplant today. So I'm very excited about that. This is the hallway to get over to the main hospital. So I'll be recording as everything goes by. And we'll see you on the other side. Keep you posted. Say bye, Liz. Bye. See you soon. So this is Liz. We're waiting in the waiting room, waiting on the nurse to come and get us. So we'll be at the hospital. They're going to admit her. So, running blood work in reference to her kidney transplant or possible transplant. So we're running tests to see if her kidneys are compatible with the other kidney. So they're running blood work now. I'm so excited for you, Liz. Yay! All right, so we're just going to keep our fingers crossed and pray to God that this kidney belongs to Liz. All right, so we're just waiting. Beautiful view on the outskirts. So, okay, so we'll keep you posted. Bye for now. So we're here in the room as we speak, getting ready. Hopefully, we're going to keep our fingers crossed for a possible donor for Elizabeth. So we're here in the room now. And this is the room that we're in. I'm really excited about this possible chance that my daughter can get a kidney. That means it's getting closer and closer to them giving her a kidney uh, with God's will. So once again, I'm so excited, and we're gonna keep you guys posted on the next video in reference to the status of everything here, probably possibly later on this evening. But yay, I'm so excited. All right, so we'll keep you guys posted. All right, bye.
Bye.
All the attention goes to Liz. Getting her IV. They love her.
Anything else? I'm just kidding.
Hello. So we got most of the blood work back. Everything was looking good at first, but the we had two kidneys that were already given out. So Liz will not be having her surgery today. All right. We're gonna try next time. We gotta keep the faith, Liz.
Yeah.
Definitely. So next time it actually moves her closer to everything. But I have to grab a call. So bye for now. And so we were a little sad, but we just kind of been trying to keep our faith and just to say, you know what, that's not our time. Our time is coming, and just, and God's got us. Now, Liz, I got a little bit upset, and she's so positive. She says, Mom, don't worry, God's got us. He's got us, Mommy. And she says this all the time to me, because sometimes I get a little emotional, because this is my baby we're talking about. But Liz is strong. She's really strong. And I just feel like it's coming, really soon, her kidney. And I just really appreciate you allowing us to speak, on your show today about her case. But yes, we've been holding on and trying to stay as strong as we can. Yeah. And my son here was actually tested, because he's the only healthy one in the house. Like I said, my husband has heart issues, and I'm a diabetic. But my son here, he said, Mom, why can't I be a donor for Liz? He turned 18. He's 19 now, but he was 18 at the time. And he says, let me go get checked. So we did all the blood work, and come to find out he had too many blood vessels surrounding his kidney. And the doctor said that could be deadly for him. Blood work, everything was perfect. And it was just, I was hard feeling for me, because I thought that he was the one.
Rodney, let me tell you something, man. 18, 19-year-olds, we all have certain dreams, most of us boys want to do something, want to play some ball or be a star or whatever. And for you to have the presence of presence of mind, and the empathy and the pathos to want to go under surgery to help save your sister's life, brother, that's the Heisman Trophy. That's the MVP award. That's the Stanley Cup, the World Series, and the NBA championship, brother. If I could, I'd break your hand if I was nearby right now to give you the high five. Let me ask something.
Thank you.
How did you look when you said that? Did you feel scared? Say, okay, I'm willing to do this, but were you scared?
To be honest with you, no. Because at the end of the day, I knew that God had me in his hands. And as long as I knew that my sister was going to be fine, I didn't care what was coming my way. I knew I was going to have to go through a recovery process. I'd be bedridden for a couple of weeks. But let's be real here. Who hasn't been bedridden? You've either broken a bone, leg, you've gotten sick. There's a lot of things that happens in people's lives, and you can't let that stop you. And to be honest with you, I just wasn't afraid. I wanted my little sister to have a long, fulfilling life, and I still want that for her to this day. And I'm heartbroken that I'm not able to give her my kidney because of the fact that I had too many blood vessels. The day that they did tell me that I couldn't donate it, I was at work that day and I wanted to go home so bad because I was frustrated. I was so upset. And it took all my might to get through the whole day. In fact, I had to tell my manager that I was going through it a little bit. So if I was moving slow that day, he'd know that, it's because of outside problems like this that it just hit me. And, I managed to get through the day and, I'm here now.
Man, and obviously you're saying that in such a sincere manner. A lot of my life I done some rough and tumble stuff, and you mess around and make me cry. um, I want to ask Lizzie first, just sort of a micro question of your brother being willing to do that. What did that mean to you?
I was happy.
You know what? That's a hell of an answer. I was happy. It doesn't need to be a whole lot of elaboration. I was happy. So Lizzie, where does your positivity come from? Your spirit of feeling as if it's gonna be okay, our time is going to come. I know a lot of people would be so frustrating and blaming the world, but you're remaining positive. What is it that allows you to keep that kind of positive approach?
My mom and God. I just gotta believe that he's gonna give me this kidney. Gotta stay strong.
Yeah, yeah. When I said that you were the soul of this show, we got several elements, but you and our interest and love for you, without ever having seen you face to face or touched you, clearly, we got some giants on this show here today. People in your family and outside of your family. But make no mistake about it, you're the soul of this show, and we want to do everything we can to honor your willingness and your ability to stay positive. And we want to do it in a way where we fast forward things. That's why I'm calling on all of my viewers to do all that you can to give support to Lizzie. And look, Lizzie, I know you wanted to say a special thanks to Linda Martinez, and I don't need to say it because you're very articulate yourself. So whatever it was that you wanted to say to Linda, here's your chance.
Thank you so much, Linda.
Honey, you are so welcome. You are so deserving. And we'll do everything we can. Everything that my dad wanted going forward was to help people just like you. So everything you need should be right there for you. You should do nothing, no worries, okay? You take care of yourself and hopefully all the rest will come together.
Thank you.
Yeah, you keep, you probably have heard the term, Liz, that, it takes a village to raise a child. And I want to let you know that this Rock Newman village is going to put their shoulder to the wheel to do everything possible to help you. Across the board, we're going to do everything possible. Dr. Callender, I saw you shaking your head, nodding, when Dianne Richmond was talking about the challenges of families and parents that have to deal with this issue, and how many challenges there were. You were, visually, nodding. What were you thinking?
About the social determinants of health that determine whether or not somebody's going to be able to get dialysis treatments. And many people get frustrated, and they actually don't continue with the dialysis treatment, and the people involved don't have the determination to find out exactly why it was. For example, there was a term that people used for our people of color. They said that we were non-compliant. Very often we were non-compliant because of the social determinants of health that were missing. As you mentioned about the transportation and the other reasons, and there's different securities that you talked about that most people will take for granted, but won't recognize that very often the term non-compliant is because they don't have the social amenities that most other people have, and that's why they don't show up for dialysis. So, the greatest word that comes to mind through all of this is love, compassion, caring, kindness, and love for one another. And I think that that's what this whole program is all about, showing love for one another so that Lizzie can have a second chance at life.
Through that love, we can make a difference. And, again, to my viewers, I want you to be a part of that. I want you to be a part of making that difference. Linda, go back to Linda Martinez, Tom Martinez, the Goal Line Fund's champion. Linda, given that you have volunteered and supported matching donors for so very long in the most dedicated of ways, there's something special that I have the privilege of sharing that you're going to receive, and I'm going to let Paul Dooley do the honors.
Linda, we've been so happy with everything you've done for 12 years. It's amazing what you've done, and I think I want to leave it up to your family to tell you behind you.
So where's your husband?
Where's your husband?
What's going on?
Where's Charlie Haley?
That's Charlie.
Come on, honey.
Hi there.
What's going on here?
This is Linda's
Well,
family.
Linda,
We're making news on the Rock Newman Show
That's right.
on the day that Lizzie is the soul of the show.
Lindsay is the soul of the show, definitely. But I have a letter here for you, Linda, from Paul Dooley, which I'll read in part. Dear Linda, on behalf of MatchingDonors.com and President Joseph R. Biden, I'll present to you now the Presidential Lifetime Volunteer Service Award. Here it is. You see it?
Oh my God!
And for over 12 years, you have volunteered tirelessly for the Tom Martinez Goal Line Fund to get life-saving treatments and transplants quickly for those who are less fortunate. Contributed to alleviating transplant availability and healthcare disparities caused by race, ethnicity, and status. Thank you for all you do. Your efforts have saved many lives. One more thing. A letter written and signed by the president himself.
Oh my goodness, Lizzie, do you see this?
The American story depends not on any one of us, not on some of us, but on all of us. I congratulate you on taking it upon yourself to contribute to the public good, and I'm proud to present you with the President's Lifetime Achievement Award in recognition of your 6,240 hours of service to this great.
Oh my God.
Throughout our country's history, the American story has been strengthened by those who combine an optimism about what can be with the resilience to turn that vision into reality. I know I'm not alone in recognizing that those who are willing to step up and volunteer in service of community and country are essential to the ongoing work of forming our more perfect union. By sharing your time and passion, you're helping discover and deliver solutions to challenges we face, solutions that we need now more than ever. We are living in a moment that calls for hope and light and love. Hope for our futures, light to see our way forward, and love for one another. Through your service, you are providing all three. On behalf of the American people, I extend my heartfelt appreciation to you for your volunteer leadership, and I encourage you to continue to answer the call to serve. This country is counting on you. Signed, President Joseph R. Biden.
Oh my God.
Last, we have a medal for you from the
Oh,
president. So,
pin. Wow. This thing, and then the medal. Oh my goodness. Well, I got to put this on so you guys can see this
That's
beautiful
right.
thing.
That's right. You step up to the podium as and there's another champion. And the operative word again, Dr. Callender, he articulated it. It is your love. How did you get that? You got
You
that
know,
through your love,
my parents, it's my
dedication.
my folks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think I was raised to believe that helping others is the most important thing you can do. And then, quite frankly, I'm a person of faith, and my faith calls me to love and to serve, to welcome my neighbor, to give everything that I can. And I think that it is my honor, my privilege to do so. I don't need, this is beautiful, and I'm very, very touched. But, all we have to do is look at Lizzie and say that Lizzie is going to live a long, full, healthy life because of all the people who are focusing on light and love and help. And if we don't serve one another, we will not be a better community. We got to get past these awful years we've had post COVID. And we're going to do that by not focusing on ourselves, but on focusing on others, on loving and serving others. And it's the joy of my life.
Thank you so much. And it is so very well deserved. And for that all of us have the opportunity to share this with you. We feel terribly, terribly blessed to be in your presence. Thank you for all that you have done.
Thank you, Linda.
Thanks, Linda.
Paul.
Yes.
Let me ask you to do something clinical here.
Sure.
And that is, if there is folks out there who are scared, they're caretakers, family, friends, supporters of somebody that might need a kidney, and they want to, they've heard this, and now they might want to take that next step for matching donors. Tell them what the process is.
Sure. So Lizzie's has a profile on matching donors, just like a lot of people. She has a profile saying, I need a kidney transplant. Here I am. Here's my blood type. And please come and put a profile in and talk to me. Because Lizzie needs it right now, and we do for a lot of people, if anyone is interested in donating to Lizzie, just call us. I have a team of people waiting by the phone. It's 800-385-0422, extension number 1.
Slow down and give that number again, Paul.
Sure. It's 1-800-385-0422, extension number 1. If for any reason no one can pick up, just leave a message. We'll call you back. If you want to sign up as a donor for Lizzie, absolutely, we'll help you and put you through the whole process. If you have any questions about that, we'll hook you up with someone similar. It's like any company where, we've all had tons of companies where I'll give you a reference. Well, the reference is the guy who was the happiest guy in the world. Our references are going to be people who went through the system, have had a transplant, or are a donor, who have questions, who are like you, who live in an area like you, have a job like you, have an education like you. And so anything clinical, we have over 300 volunteers that can answer all the questions. We make sure that everyone knows what they're getting into. And a kidney transplant is a surgery. It's definitely a surgery. But you'd be amazed. Every single donor that we ever talked to said, oh my God, I couldn't believe how simple it was. It's not easy. It's a surgery, but it's simple. You go in, you get the testing done, you have a surgery done. And the recovery period is not that bad. It's not that bad at all. But anyone that wants to donate to Lizzie, just call us or go to matchingdonors.com. It's a very, very simple little one page thing. And we don't get too clinical, just as long as we know it's a blood type that's compatible to her. Then we hand it over to the hospitals. The hospitals take everything from there. And the hospitals are great. Her hospital's spectacular. They'll make sure that those donors are processed very quickly. They'll make sure that their testing is done quickly. And that once they have a match, they'll call Lizzie and her mother, or call her mother and say, we have a match. Let's come in and have the transplant done.
And anybody can get on to come to matchingdonors.com if they have a kidney challenge themselves, obviously.
Absolutely. Anyone with a kidney challenge themselves will help out. So even if someone doesn't have a kidney challenge where it's necessary to have a kidney transplant, we have a partnership now with the American Diabetes Association, where you can talk to doctors, nephrologists, who can say, this is what your situation is, or doctors or nurses or people who have gone through the system to help you out. The object of the game is not to get a kidney if you not necessarily need a kidney, but to get you to the best health you can be. If it's a kidney, absolutely. If it's a doctor that has a specialty in what you need, absolutely. So we'll help you out no matter what.
Dr. Callender, with your many years of experience and expertise and being the absolute giant in the industry, before we wrap this show up, um, any words of encouragement or advice to Lizzie?
Yeah, I think that she has the positive approach that is the epitome of what makes for a successful transplant recipient. I think the power of positiveness is something that is difficult to overestimate and overemphasize. I think that one of the things that I'm impressed upon is that the word that St. Francis of Assisi said, it is in giving that you receive. It's in pardon that you're pardoned. It's in dying that you're born to eternal life. So what's so wonderful about matching donors is it gives people the opportunity to give. And one of the things that has impressed me more than anything else is the positivity and the emotional positivity that donors receive in the giving of the organs. They have less anxiety, less frustration, less depression than any other group, and it's because they have the opportunity to give. And it is true that in giving that we receive. Those are the things that I would share as we close.
You hear all of that, Lizzie?
Yes.
You're gonna get this. You're gonna get this kidney real soon. And you told me before we came on the air that you could dance a little bit. Rihanna is your favorite singer. I want to see you get this kidney, and then some kind of way we all gonna get together and want to see you get on the good foot and put that dance down. How about that?
Sounds good.
All right. So a heartfelt thank you to each of you for participating today. Man, oh man, oh man. If lightning were to strike me tomorrow, I'd say, get away from here, lightning. No. But if lightning were to strike me tomorrow, I would feel good about having done this. Lizzie, you are an incredible inspiration for me, for my family, and for our community, and for this world. And all of you have expressed through your actions love. And love, I want to end this show, I want to wrap this show up by saying love rules. God bless you all.
Yes.
And we'll see you the next time on the Rock Newman Show 2.0.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.